Greetings, and thank you for joining us this morning for the reading of Christ's letters. Um, I say us because before getting on, I thought about we're a committed collective of 5, and we have 6 and 7 and 8 at times, but generally there are 5 of us that are, it's not that others are not committed. Others have been on for long periods of time too, so they just kind of check in and check out. I thank you for joining us. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking from the collective of us. We get together every week and discuss these letters and dialogue and challenge and question and have just a good time making them real in our lives, because we know that's bringing forth the kingdom of heaven on earth. So I really thank you for joining us. And I just thought tonight we begin with letter 3. So we don't have any preliminary work to do as far as finding our place. So just pull up letter 3 and just breathe and just relax. And just allow whatever you're sitting on or riding on or lying down on support you fully. Just put your total weight into that. Relax into it. Feel it all along your body. And I just was imagining this same support and then visualize nothing there. That the support is all within our own state of being. So I guess in this, I'm coming into my stillness and silence. I'm going to that which is beyond the feelings, the tangible, and that from which all the tangible comes from, as Christ reveals to us through these letters. And so just know that who and what you and I are, we are this life energy, this essence, what Christ calls that from which everything comes. And everything supporting us is also from that from which everything, no exceptions, that from which everything comes. The idea exists, and the consciousness brings that idea into fruition. Idea can come from without or from within the individual. So in this time we allow the within of us with the without of us as one. One Christ, one consciousness, one life, one presence, one power, one intelligence, one love, one truth. All of that is available to us. And we come to these letters for Christ to bring it forth, the truth that's already within us. There's no work to be done. There's no effort. There's just recognition and realization. So I give thanks for these letters, for Christ, the universal that was individualized in the man Jesus over 2,000 years ago, is now claiming its manifestation with us and calling it forth. So with great gratitude, not just for Christ, but for the recorder who could bring these concepts, these ideas, these truths so directly to the Christ within us. I praise and give thanks for her openness and her clarity in being the perfect conduit for Christ to express himself to us directly, individually. So I give thanks as we enter letter 3 in a meditative state, the state of seeking, the state of finding that which we seek, in a state of questioning, but not allowing the questioning to get in the way of seeking the higher truth, the truth that frees us and everyone in our world. And thank you for being here with us. So just allow this feeling, this state of being, to be with us as we read these letters and hear these letters. For we each hear and feel and think within all the parameters that will free us to become that which we desire to become and that which we desire for our world, beginning with ourselves. So I'm grateful as I release this time, these opportunities from to the Christ as one. Listen with our inner ears, that which is said. And the inner ears will bless us with its presence. Feel this for the whole world right now, for all humanity. Just know that all humanity at this moment in time has the opportunity to be of this presence within themselves. And grateful for being within us as one. Again, release it and listen with gratitude. I speak these words from the Christ, to the Christ, through the Christ, becoming the Christ. And it is so. And so it is. Before coming on, I was reflecting, excuse me, how blessed and privileged I am to, each week I get to read the same material 3 times. I read it before the class, and I read it during the class, and now I'm reading it to you after the class. And I just want to say what a privilege it is to have this consistency, encouraging me, supporting me, revealing itself to me. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity that you're willing to listen, so I have an opportunity to share this with you and to those that you may want to send it to. If you want to reach me, it's chapelinthesky@aol.com. That's CHAPELINTHESKY@AOL.com. That's without walls, without ceilings, without floors. It's the inclusivity where all are welcome. All are welcome. So even those who may challenge these letters are welcome, because I love dialoguing about them. I love sharing the truth of them, and I don't try to change another, I just share the truth. So I always like to begin a new letter with the introduction from Christ, reminding us why he came in the year 2000, the beginning of this millennium, and why we have come together. So this is Christ's message to us. I read from Christ Returns, Reveals Startling Truth. Christ says, I have come to rectify the misinterpretations placed on the teachings given when known as Jesus in Palestine 2,000 years ago. Christ also says, because people are on the threshold of a world crisis of enormous proportions, it is vital for survival that I, the Christ, should reach all who will listen. Reading my letters gives you the true processes of creation in which you yourselves play a major role. This is why I take these letters so seriously. It is imperative you should understand them sufficiently to enable you to embark on the implementation of a higher vision for all humanity. And I add, beginning with ourselves. It is impossible for my spiritual consciousness to take on human form. To enable me to speak to you directly, I've deprogrammed and prepared a receptive, obedient mind to receive my truth and frame it in words. She is my recorder. And as I said in the opening, I just so admire this woman for her commitment to getting these ideas. I'm assuming we all have the experience of meditation where there's no way I can say this. And I'm sure she had probably many of those experiences and has done just such an awesome job as recording them. So there's also an introduction to letter 3, and it is, in this letter, Christ continues with his life incidents, teachings, his awareness that his time on earth was to be cut short by crucifixion, the things he did to arouse the anger of the Jewish religious leaders, what really took place and was said at the Last Supper, and the disciple attitudes and the truth concerning his ascension. So there's a great letter for Christians or anyone to read and with an open mind can be revealed. My belief is if Christianity can move from the deified Jesus to the Father of Jesus, which Jesus encourages us to do over and over, of myself I do nothing, the Father does it all. Okay, so he's trying to tell us this is the truth of us. If we can be open to that, we, the world that calls itself Christian, can bring, that the world might be saved, Jesus said. John 3:17, for God sent not his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that through him the world might be saved. And we are the avenue through which Jesus desired, Jesus' dream, Jesus' vision for humanity, brotherly love and sisterly love. This is the time that we can bring it forth. And I believe Christ's letters are the very best source for that. I know there are many, many paths on the road. I'm not disclaiming any of them. We're all working toward the same goal. And it's time for all of us to be in total congruency of which we are, because we're of this consciousness, where we just respect and admire all the paths, because we are the bringers, we are the light. So sorry for this long introduction. I'm just really charged, I guess, after realizing I'm going to read this material again and how much it meant to me last time. So we ended letter 2 with a Sermon on the Mount, and here's another opportunity for us to see Jesus' public teaching. So Christ returns, reveals startling truth. Letter 3. Since these letters take you into a spiritual, mental dimension, transcending the human plane of activities and concerns, they will be best absorbed if preceded by a time of stillness and relaxation. Quiet your minds. If possible, go into a state of inner silence, of thought. It is only when you are in this completely receptive state that these letters will penetrate your human thought with their reality. Okay. I guess that's what I've attempted to accomplish. My boundless celestial love impels me to return to you again and again to write to mankind, with the intention that finally, as many of you who are ready to receive it will possess the knowledge which will enable you to transcend your humanhood and merge into Father consciousness, the true love connect consciousness, in which you realize all things bountiful and beautiful. If you're reading, I invite you to read that paragraph again. I invite you to read this letter. As I have said previously and want to repeat, my entire mission on earth was prompted by love and was directed only at the teaching of the truth of existence. For without this knowledge, there is no hope of redemption from the travail which mankind is born to endure. Again, another warning. Christ is saying, this isn't a religion, this isn't um, a moral teaching. This is a teaching to save the world, to keep you from killing yourselves. I mean, that's, the bottom line. I don't live in that fear. I trust that humanity, whatever it's going to do, is going to do it. And my place to be in peace through it all. So anytime I read the news and the media, I immediately go to the Father and say, take this from me. This is not mine. I'm not a creator of this. So I immediately remove my energy from it. And I invite you to do that. If you watch the news, there's a lot of drama in it. I've been told that's our number one addiction. So let's get addicted to love. Let's get addicted to making peace within ourselves throughout the rest of this year. If we can do that for ourselves, we can do it for the world, because everyone comes into our orb. And the more powerful our understanding of this is, the more powerful we realize the Christ of us, the Father of us, the Creator of us, and we're the ones telling the Creator what to create. It's like, duh, if I want peace on earth, I have to create peace. So the first place to get it, within myself. And then everyone who comes into this orb comes into peace. It's up to me to choose to allow anything of less than that to come to me. So I know that if they come into my orb, there's something good for me in it. There's more to learn about love. And that's how I process it. Even however I react in that current moment, I can act from anger or authority, the demanding authority, the manipulating authority. If I come that way, even after that, I go back to the Father and say, okay, I know I didn't do this the best way. So. And these letters are doing this constantly, consistently for me. So I feel if they do them for me, you have the opportunity for them to do them for you too, because it's already within us. That's the bottom line. This is already within us. That's why Christ is revealing its truth. Okay, it's just showing us what we already are. We are that from which everything comes. Okay, I'm going to read the previous paragraph because that set me off on this. Then I'll come back into the flow so I can stay in context. As I have said previously and want to repeat, my entire mission on earth was prompted by love and was directed only at teaching the truth of existence. For without this knowledge, there is no hope of redemption from the travail which mankind is born to endure. To the degree we believe that. And so that's what I was saying. Take this from me. It's not mine. I'm not creating the hell on earth that's existing. I'm the bringer of peace, as I believe you are, as the other collective that's around us at this time are. Because this is how it works for us. I know this statement. I'm going to change that instead of will bring. I do a lot of editing in my book, and I encourage you to do that. Anything that separates or anything that I keep it in the present tense, because this is happening right now as we're reading it, as we're hearing it. It's happening right now. So we're creating, we are it right now. The Christ of us is just bursting into its blossomhood, into its reality. So it's not for us to give credence or energy or power or even fear. If we fear, we're giving energy to it. We're allowing it to exist so I can have the fear. When I don't have the fear, it doesn't have to exist. Wow. See how that works? So yeah, that's really cool. So anyway, so don't give any credence to the world coming to an end. We know that's a possibility. But where do I want to put my focus? On that possibility or the possibility of heaven on earth by December 31st, 2018. Okay, that's my dream. That's my push, my motivation, and why I'm so, especially with the beginning of this letter. When Christ begins the letters and when he ends his letters, there's just such an energy of presence in it and through it that it just totally invigorates me, even more than reading the rest, it seems. So I know this statement may bring much grief to sincere and dedicated followers of Christian religion. and those who have centered their entire faith on the person of Jesus. But I tell you truly, to their entire faith on the person of Jesus, but I tell you truly, to succeed in ridding yourselves of the humanhood which holds you back. I just did an article on the spiritualized human versus the humanized spirit. Yeah, humanized spirit. That would have been a better title. But I tell you truly, to succeed in ridding yourselves of the humanhood which holds you back from the full realization of universal truth, all in uppercase and bolded, and the understanding of the true nature of the spiritual human condition, I term the kingdom of God. You must turn away from the old dogmas of salvation by the blood of the Lamb, the Trinity, and other beliefs, and come with perfectly open, receptive minds to the truth of existence. Anything holding us back from the truth keeps us in bondage to an old God. Okay? No other salvation is possible. God cannot save you, since in ignorance of the facts of existence, mankind will continue to make the same earthbound mistakes till the end of time, thus creating his own sickness and misery. In the world, but not of the world. Furthermore, no matter what a man's belief may be in regard to salvation from sins, this is a human fallacy, since the law of cause and effect is impenetrable and intrinsic, inherent, natural characteristics of existence. Punishment is its own reward, is the way we say it from this consciousness. You may now be sufficiently advanced in your thinking to be able to receive the following fundamental truth concerning your earthly existence. The law of cause and effect, reaping and sowing, is the visible effect of what you call electromagnetism. And no one who has any knowledge of science would expect God to set aside the laws of electromagnetism, which are those of activity, bonding, rejection. Christ uses many terms. I'm not going to explain them. Just listen to the terms. Christ is saying these. He wants to expand our minds. Remember, he wants to get us out of these old concepts. So he's using terms like this to say, what does that mean? And so we take time to meditate on that and ask the Father, what does this mean? Let Christ reveal it. Don't try to think what it means. Let Christ reveal it and say, here it is. This is the truth of it. Okay, this is the truth behind it. So I'm not going to spend time on this because letter 5, Christ goes into the depth of all these terms so we fully understand them and comprehend them. So keep reading, keep reading the letters. Letter 5, I really invite you to join us because that's a very, for me, it was a very difficult letter to read until about maybe the 7th or 8th reading where the group that we were with at that time just repeated it. We did it a second time and got much depth out of it. So anyway, enough on that. And that'll keep me from discussing this and explaining what these terms mean. So he's just talked about activity, bonding, rejection. Activity, bonding, rejection, or movement, attraction, repulsion are the fundamental impulses of existence and of human consciousness itself, which have brought about your visible forms in life and are only the instruments or tools of creation. We're the initiator of these tools, a catalyst for them. They are responsible for the formation of substance or matter, and also for the development of individualized forms, and finally of personality itself in all living entities. And I recently did a YouTube on creativity comes from within, or something along that line. Since these laws are fundamental to your individualized existence, it is impossible to set them aside. Therefore, you cannot ignore the problems inherent in your individualized existence and be sensitive to that in others, okay? So therefore, you cannot ignore the problems inherent in your individual existence. Your only hope of final escape, of stepping off the treadmill of human experience, is to recognize and acknowledge them. Our faults. We don't have to judge them. They're not bad or good or right or wrong. They just are. And it's like, how do I deal with it is all I have to do. You know, I deal with it with anger and frustration and resistance, or I deal with it as I accept it. It's part of who I am. And I make so many mistakes. And you've seen me, if you've watched my YouTubes. I don't know how to edit, and I wouldn't edit out anyway, because my truth is to show you the truth of who I am, which is the truth of you. And I want to show you the freedom that comes from being yourself, to be normal, to be, to laugh and play and have joy. That's what it's all about. Okay, so first is to recognize our difficulties and those patterns we have in us, and then work minute by minute to transcend them, and eventually merge in purity of mind, heart, and action, and become one with universal love consciousness that has no judgment. It's not telling us that we're bad. We're getting that from somewhere else. So when we allow universal consciousness to say, it's okay, Dwight, we can work with this, And I learned something from it. I learned more about how to love, how to let go, how to be, how to find out who I am, how to find the Father through me and let it express. So the Father, which does the love work. So I'm going to read that without interruption. And then work minute by minute to transcend them and eventually merge in purity of mind, heart, and action, and become one with universal love consciousness, the Father, which does the love work. That's all we have to do, is give it to the Father, and the rest is done. So I'm going to pause here, and you won't realize, but a whole number of hours will have transcended before I come back to you again. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I trust I will be in the same spirit of being when we come back. Lots of love to you from this now until we come back together again, and may it remain with you as it does with me. God bless.